Hey guys, I'm George, the nice medic gentleman. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and it's time to take a look at what's probably two of the very best Armaf fragrances that you can currently get. Club de Nuit Precious and Club de Nuit Lionheart. Now, out of those two fragrances that I'm featuring in today's video, one of them has been around for a while, the other one is a recent release. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Club de Nuit Precious. Now, this fragrance was released probably almost a year ago, but it took quite a long time before it actually showed up at our markets. Just before Christmas, it showed up at one of the sites that I sometimes buy fragrances from, but it was instantly sold out and I just couldn't get a bottle. And fast forward a few months and now this is readily available almost everywhere, at least around where I live. So now I was finally able to get a bottle of Club de Nuit Precious and try this very hyped up fragrance from the brand of Armaf. Now, first of all, I'm not going to go too much into detail about the presentation and packaging. I'm going to do that in a future full review. Also, you've probably already seen all about it, but still it's quite an experience to actually unbox Club de Nuit Precious. First of all, you open it up just like you do, like you're opening up a brand new iPhone. It's an interesting way to package a fragrance. Once you take out this cardboard box, the outside box, then you're greeted by an sort of a plastic inside box, and then inside here is where the actual fragrance lies. So the whole presentation is very lavish, very luxurious, and again quite the experience. The other important things about this fragrance, the concentration here is extrait de parfum, and the bottle size is 55 milliliters. And then this is how the bottle looks, and I actually kind of really dig the way that the bottle looks. I think it looks really beautiful. The only thing that I don't like is that this thingy hanging on at the front, which has the Armaf and Club de Nuit signs on it. And the other thing that I don't like about the presentation is the fact that it has such a glossy finish that it's an absolute fingerprint magnet, and it's a real nightmare to actually keep the bottle clean. And one other thing that's probably a bit of a problem with the bottle design is the fact that this bottle is so slim and relatively tall that it can be a little bit unstable, so you have to be careful with this one, you know, so you don't sort of drop it or touch it and it falls off to the side. Other than that though, the presentation is really lovely, and I'm actually quite a huge fan of the way that this bottle and the whole presentation looks. But enough about presentation and things like that. Let's talk about the scent. First of all, let me show you the spray in action. One thing that I don't like about this thingy hanging here is the fact that it makes this noise, rattling noise around whenever you move the bottle. The scent itself, basically this is yet another Creed Aventus style of fragrance, but this one feels closer to Creed Aventus Absolute than the OG Creed Aventus, although definitely still carries a lot of the Creed Aventus scent sort of on properties as well. It's the opening is fresh, bright, fruity, with a bit of spiciness, a bit of woodiness, a bit of oak moss as well. Not much birchiness with this one, not much smokiness or leather with this one in the opening. This feels sweeter, it feels more fruity. There's a caramel note in this fragrance that definitely adds quite a lot of sweetness in the opening and making it sweeter than the original Creed Aventus. So it's a nice, enjoyable opening, although in the first few seconds, once you spray this one, there's just a hint of a synthetic vibe. Keep that in mind, but that luckily that lasts for a few seconds and then it goes away. And then on the dry down, it becomes a little bit more woody and becomes quite a bit sweeter, because you start to get in a bit of vanilla note, you start to get in a bit of an ambery note. Here on the dry down, you'll get a bit of musk, you'll get a bit of that leather that is found in the OG Creed Aventus. But all around, this is like a less fresh, less smoky, less leathery take on the OG Creed Aventus DNA. This is sweeter. It relies on more fruity sweetness, it relies on more woody notes, it relies on more vanilla and ambery sweetness. But it's a nicely done fragrance, definitely smells really nice, and definitely smells quite a bit similar to Creed Aventus Absolute and the OG Creed Aventus. Performance wise, I've had this for 2 days, I've worn it for 2 days straight, and definitely I can confirm that this is a strong scent. Now I still cannot call it a beast, but definitely this lasts for a good amount of time, at least 8-9 hours on my skin, and also definitely projects really nicely. Price wise, initially when this was showed up for like a minute or two on our markets a few months ago, it used to be quite expensive. Back then it costed it used to cost about 80-85 euros, and since this is only a 55 milliliter bottle size, I think at that price point it's quite a bit overpriced. But nowadays this can be found for around about 50-55 euros, or around about $60-65. At this price point, I think it's a good deal. Versatility wise, it's a very versatile fragrance, just like any other Creed Venta style of fragrance. This is just uniquely versatile. It's very masculine, and also this is a compliment magnet. The first time I wore this, I received a compliment, which is something that rarely happens, and all around I think that Armaf have done a great job with Club de Nuit Precious, and this is probably the best in the line of Club de Nuit fragrances that are cloning or have been inspired by Creed Ventas. So this was it for my initial impressions for the hyped up beast from last year. Now let's talk about the newest hyped up beast from the brand of Armaf, which is again part of the Club de Nuit line. This one though is called Lionheart. And this is a fragrance that's heavily inspired or smells very similar to Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir. Another very nicely packaged fragrance. This one coming into quite a sturdy, thick cardboard box. You get this lion head on the front. You get some of the Armaf branding on the sides and all that. The concentration here is EDP, and the bottle size is 100 milliliters. An interesting fact is that they've dropped the 105 milliliter bottles, it seems, and now they're going for 100 milliliter bottles, which is a bit of a shame in my opinion, because that additional 5 milliliters is a good thing when it comes to the price per milliliter ratio, and also just was something a little bit unique for Armaf. But now they are starting to use a more standard 100 milliliter bottle size. The bottle again looks very similar to the Club de Nuit line. Again, you have something hanging on the front, although this time around it seems to be more firmly attached to the bottle. The cap is it's plastic on the inside and has metallic coating. I'm going to show you the spray in action. This is, bottle-wise, as far as the presentation goes, it looks kind of nice, as long as you're okay with this squarish design of the Club de Nuit line of fragrances. And the scent itself, as I said, this is a clone of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Le Male Elixir, and it's a really good clone of Le Male Elixir. It opens up a bit spicy, it opens up very sweet, it opens up with a strong tobacco note, with a strong honey note, with a strong vanilla note. There's a bit of mint and lavender somewhere in the background. This has also a bit of a peppery feel in the first few minutes of the opening of this fragrance, and it smells like Le Male Elixir, but slightly more spicy and slightly darker in the opening. On the dry down, it actually gets a little bit closer to Le Male Elixir, because some of that spiciness goes away, and you're left with that familiar combination of scent of notes from the original fragrance, mainly the tobacco, the honey, the vanilla, and the tonka bean. But again, this feels a little bit different. Personally, for me, the original is a little bit more powdery, while this still remains a little bit darker than the original fragrance. Maybe there's something a little bit earthy on the dry down here, maybe a patchouli note, maybe also I think this has a slightly stronger tobacco note compared to the original fragrance. But those differences, those subtle differences, are only, you can pick them up only if you smell it up close. In here, this actually smells very similar to Le Male Elixir, but I can definitely say that this is not the closest thing to Le Male Elixir. Still, though, smells really nice, and I like what Armaf have done, the small twist on the scent that they have done. Basically, they've just darkened up a little bit the scent profile. They've toned down a little bit of the aromatic nature of the original fragrance, a little bit of that freshness of the original fragrance, and just made this one a little bit more spicy, a little bit darker, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, those smells are very similar to the original scent. Again, performance wise, it's a strong fragrance. Still not going to give it like a full rating, but definitely this lasts easily 8-9 hours on my skin, so definitely this is a good performing scent. Also projects really nicely, so performance wise absolutely no issues. Price wise, I personally paid around about 40 euros to get this one, so around about 45 to $50, so it's ever so slightly more expensive than some of the other Le Mans Elixir clones currently on the markets, but at least it offers a good quality and definitely offers good performance. And versatility wise, this is definitely a cold weather scent, a masculine scent, a cold weather scent that definitely works better in the nighttime. So guys, in today's video I shared with you a quick look at two of the very best Armaf fragrances that you can currently get: Club de Nuit Precious and Club de Nuit Lionheart. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.